Alright everyone, I hope you all are having a great day today, but I did want to make a quick video today going over another thing I thought about with Test Drive Unlimited. Now I did make a thing about how the game's going to be always online and stuff like that, which I would say is an issue. I'm actually planning on doing a video about that, or going over that topic in a separate video, but I did want to go over something else here. So we all do know the game is obviously delayed. We most likely will not have a release date here for a bit. I do know if you go online it does say March 31st, but that's kind of like, barely a week away or a little over a week. So that probably isn't happening. That would probably make no sense whatsoever for them to release the game with no marketing or stuff like that. So it is obviously going to be at a later date. But I have to admit right now, I do feel like the game being delayed is a good thing. Now, hear me out for a quick second here, guys, because I would almost say a lot of people might be like, well, hold on a second, Blocked. This game was, going to release a few times now, but they did end up delaying it. It was also supposed to, be out probably a year ago, or at least, people have said that. And on top of that, the game was probably shown around 2020, so we're a bit past that now being in 2024, which is 4 years. Goodness, time's going quick. Now, there is going to be a few different sides to this, and I hate to say it, guys, but I do feel like it is probably going to be fairly mixed. Now, one of the sides here is probably going to go, well, Block, like, yeah, the game is delayed, so that's going to give them a lot of time for the game to be polished, which is probably going to be everyone's thought, including mine. Like, I hope that is the case. And I would say, like, playtesting the game and stuff like that, that, yeah, some of these things probably have to be fixed, or, like, we need to get rid of this bug. We can't have stuff like that coming out on the actual release of it. Which, do not worry, because currently in the gaming market, most games obviously come out with having a ton of issues. And then on top of that, though, they end up spending around 6 months to an entire year basically trying to fix it. And then once the game is finally fixed, well, most of the player base is probably gone, unfortunately. So that's probably going to be a pretty bad cycle. I was even going to make an entire separate video about this. I feel like it's honestly a really bad trend with most games nowadays. And I could probably name a few games right off the top of my head. Not going to do that. That easily fell into this place, like you play it and you're probably like, yeah, that game probably needed to cook for at least another year, but boom, it's undercooked, and Gordon's gonna be yelling at you. Pretty unfortunate. So I would almost guess right now that nobody is going to want that scenario with basically any game, including Test Drive Unlimited. So I would rather the game honestly cook for a bit longer and most likely come out being even that much better. And then there is probably going to be more playtesting and all that good stuff on it. So I would say the game is probably going to be a bit more polished. Now, on the top of that, though, the other thing with the game being delayed is, can it hit a different aspect? For example, yes, the game is obviously hyped and a lot of players want it. The thing is, though, if they keep delaying the game and they end up releasing it a lot later on, a lot of players, even diehard fans, are going to be like, you know what? By the time this game comes out, should I even bother getting it? Like, is there even going to be a reason? At the same time, a lot of players that are diehard fans probably would end up picking it up. Like, for example, regardless of the weird things we have heard and, like, the things we're seeing in the trailers, I have heard that apparently the game is better in its playtesting, which I would probably say is going to be fairly true. Trailers sometimes might not be the best way to show it, unless they're actually showing, like, legit gameplay and not, like, pre-recorded or, like, specialized, like, filming on the gameplay and, or, whatever you call that. That is probably going to be a bit different than the actual game on how it runs. Like, not seeing, like, the suspension working, or, like, the front of the vehicles looking weird, or, not seeing dust particles flying off the cars and stuff like that. Like, you might not see it in the trailers, but in the game itself it probably is in there. At least I'm being optimistic in that way, I guess. One of the biggest things I do look at here, and let's be honest, by the way, because I would say almost everybody is going to agree with this, a lot of games nowadays probably do need more time in development instead of coming out. I do know there could be, like, deadlines and stuff like that, like, I get it, but releasing a game being slightly broken or needing, like, at least a year of more development, or, the game coming out pre-development, I guess you could say, then that game's pretty much going to be spending the rest of its life cycle trying to get fixed. And then what's also insane, though, is on top of the game needing to be fixed, a lot of the players that are currently playing it are technically going to be playtesters, and a lot of them are probably going to go, wait a second, y'all, what are we doing? Like, finding certain bugs in the game, or, like, going through a certain area on that said map and the entire game crashes. Like, these are things that have happened, and I would say if a lot of people are not testing the game out before it does release, then yes, it is most likely going to continue to happen in the future. Now, I really do want to say one more thing here, guys. Even though I would say this game is in a weird place, I am still honestly pretty excited to play it. Like, I do know a lot of things are probably, like, up in the air, or, like, up in limbo right now, but all we really can do right now is most likely be patient. I would actually love to playtest this game and probably give it a shot. Hopefully in the future they might have like closed servers and stuff like that to where you can test it. Motorfest also had something like that to where you can play it, like, give player feedback, like, hey, this car handles weird, or even looking at like an off-road truck or something and noticing how it doesn't handle right. Like, all of these things can be addressed with the devs and the player base, and I do feel like something like that really is needed. Like, communication really is key in everything. So I think we can all agree, though, having the game being a bit more delayed and also being a bit more play tested probably is the best way to do it. But besides all that, though, guys, I would like to know what you think about the entire, like, delayed thing with Test Drive Unlimited. Do you think the game is going to come out this year, or do you think it's going to be pushed back again? I guess, honestly, time is only going to tell on this. If I had to guess, though, I would like to say the game might come out in the fall of 2024, but again, we really don't know.